It's me again. Hey, one last hand for Robert Michael, his first time here at the Satchmo Fest as a speaker. I thought it was terrific. And make sure to listen to that. Go to that website. I was reading a bunch of articles. It's very diverse subject matter. It's really terrific. For the final time, I will introduce myself, second time, third out of 8 opportunities. Humility, man. My name is John Polt. I have been thrilled and honored to have been your guide through these 8 hours of 7 so far of talks here at the Satchmo Legacy Stage in memory of Joni Berry. It is part of this 22nd annual Satchmo Summerfest presented by Chevron. And for the last time, I will say their logo is a chevron. Thank you. This festival is made possible through the generosity of our sponsors and supported through your purchase, like this young woman over here who purchased a vintage French Quarter Festival tee. You could get bags, and they really got to get the umbrella concession going for the early part of the day. But you should buy those things, and that helps the French Quarter Festival, which is a very small organization that presents really great, large events, such as this one. So thanks to all our sponsors who make it possible. Chevron, the New Orleans Jazz Museum at the Old U.S. Mint. Give them a hand for hosting us. And I'd like to make special mention of Travis Wagaspak and Aiden, the alliterative Aiden Adler, which means eagle in German. Of course, Danny Kadar for the wonderful technical stuff happening here. And Bad Andy. Give Bad Andy a big hand of applause. Also, here in front of me is Stephen Maitland-Lewis, who is here. Not only he was a presenter here, he wrote some letters as a teen in England to Louis Armstrong, and Louis Armstrong kept them. Louis Armstrong invited him to lunch at his hotel, as I recall. And since he came and presented here, he's been really one of the dearest friends of this festival. And he has supported this stage in memory of his late wife, Joni Berry, through the Eichenbaum Foundation and himself. And I just want to, personally, on behalf of everyone, thanks, Steve. It's always such a pleasure to see you there in the front row, and it's been a delight once again this year. Thank you. Also, the Ella Fitzgerald Charitable Foundation and Janice Folks back there. Give her a big extended round of applause. She is also sponsoring this. I believe, weren't you board president of French Quarter Festival previously? And there she is volunteering and giving her time and money to this festival. Also, Richie and Vicky Nurigan, who are in abstention, they're in Mahwah, New Jersey. They came with Ricky, I think, brought them a number of years ago, and they continue to support the festival. So give them a hand of applause. And finally, Andrea Duplessis. Where did she go, Mary? Well, she's not here at the moment, but she will be coming back. Give her a big hand of applause. She's a great supporter of jazz, produced a wonderful Grammy-winning record, was among the producers of Doc Cheatham with Nicholas Payton. The song Stardust, I think, was Jazz Song of the Year. And speaking of Grammys, so Ricky Riccardi, who I first brought to this festival in 2008, he was a house painter with a blog and a degree from jazz studies from Rutgers. And he came here that first time, and he's been like a kind of Superman. Like he's done everything he's asked. Sometimes I'm teaching. I teach at Dillard University. I'm teaching, and I'll have a question about Louis Armstrong. I said, students, I have an on-call Satchmologist. And I'll do it, and within minutes, the phone buzzes, and they're like, wow, he's real. Ricky Riccardi is real. And he became, a number of years ago, he started working for the Louis Armstrong House Museum and Archive. He is now the director of research for that institution. He is also an author, as you know. He wrote What a Wonderful World, The Magic of Louis Armstrong's Later Years, and A Heart Full of Rhythm about his big band years, and he's a prolific writer of liner notes. This year, his liner notes for a compilation of 20 years of his work on Mosaic Records of Louis Armstrong's work on RCA and one other thing, Columbia and RCA from 46 to 66, won the Grammy for Best Liner Notes. But the thing about Ricky is, you know, he won this Grammy, but he's like a humble guy. That would change a lot of people. Like, it did not change Ricky Riccardi. And he is just the same humble house painter from Toms River, New Jersey, that we... Hey.
No. I would just like to start off by saying you're welcome. Everybody else here is thanking people. You're the ones who should be thanking me, so I'll just eliminate the middleman if you don't mind. New Orleans, a city that has produced no Grammy winners. That's what I've been told. So I know it's like a treat to be here today, this afternoon, because this is something you probably have never seen before. A Grammy winner in the album notes category. But a Grammy is a Grammy, as they say. I hate to actually make this comparison, but hey, Louis Armstrong won one Grammy. I've won one Grammy. We're equals. Does anybody have any questions about the Grammys? Las Vegas, Nevada, April 3rd, 2022. They call my name. I go on stage. Should I recreate that? No. All right, it's enough time for you.
Wait, I want to point one thing out. That pork pie hat in the Buster Keaton style, I physically made from a fedora using Buster Keaton's recipe of sugar water. For real, he published a recipe and to make a pork pie, and I sent it to his daughter, who was a Buster Keaton fan as a young girl, and now he has commandeered it for his anti-personality. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Ricky Riccardi.
Thank you. For real, any questions about the Grammy? I could talk about this one. No, I'll stop. We are here today for Louis Armstrong, not for me, God forbid. This year marks the 75th anniversary of the formation of Louis Armstrong's All-Stars. He broke up his big band in 1947, started a small group, toured the rest of the world, the rest of his life, 24 years with this band. This group is my bread and butter. My very first Satchmo Summerfest presentation in 2008, this is my 15th Satchmo Summerfest, was on Louis Armstrong and his All-Stars. I'm returning to the well, but I've got all new clips, and I'm going to talk about him a little bit, but this is really Louis's showcase. So the only way to properly begin, Louis began almost every show starting around 1951. The first 4 years he experimented, then in 51 he hit upon the winning formula of When It's Sleepy Time Down South, followed by Back Home Again in Indiana. So that's the only way to properly start this. The clip I've chosen is from Amsterdam in 1959. As you will notice, Louis and the All-Stars were late to the gig, which did not happen. As Jewel Brown talked about yesterday, this organization was usually on top of things. They were in Amsterdam. I don't know what they could have been doing to be late to the gig. But it's different because usually they wore a uniform, but here they're all in different attire. They're wearing suits and all, but they don't look like themselves at first. But immediately they jump right on stage, total professionals. You're going to see Louis Armstrong, Peanuts Hucko on clarinet, Trummy Young on trombone, Billy Kyle piano, Mort Herbert bass, and Danny Barcelona drums. Here is the start of just about every All-Star show for 20 years, Sleepy Time Down South and Back Home Again in Indiana.
Louis Armstrong and his All-Stars.
shining on the field below. The folks are crooning soft and low. You needn't tell me, boy, because I know, yes. When it's sleepy time down south, yes, that soft wind blowing through the pinewood trees. That folks down there live a life of ease. When old mammy falls on her knees, yes. When it's sleepy time down south, yes. Steamboats up the river coming or going, ba-ba-ba that they have pepper said, and splashing the night away. Ba-ba-da-do-do-do say, oh yes, you hear those banjos ringing, and our folks are singing, and they dance till the break of day. Yes. Dear old Southland with this dreamy song, yeah, take me back where I belong, right in my memory's arms. Bandas, 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 yes. Good evening, everybody.
So yeah, people complained after a while. Oh God, start with the same two songs, but you really can't top those two. And for Lewis especially, Sleepy Time Down South, put him in the right mindset. Who knows? Coming off the bus, when the last time he was eating and tired, this and that. But at least that song always kind of reset him. And then Indiana, it's the perfect number to get the chops ready. You hear him testing out all different things. Where are the high notes? How's my velocity tonight? How do the lips feel? And that night was spectacular. There wouldn't have been an All-Stars without a concert in New York's Town Hall on May 17th, 1947, when the producer Ernie Anderson begged Joe Glazer, just for one night, let's have Louis Armstrong front a small group, an integrated small group. What's the worst that can happen? What happened was a sellout performance, and to me, the emotional highlight of that performance was a duet between Louis and Jack Teagarden on Rockin' Chair. And unfortunately, there's very little footage of note, of worth from the early days of the All-Stars. But in 1957, Teagarden and Armstrong reprised Rockin' Chair on an episode of the Timex All-Star Jazz Show. Great band. It's kind of a weird, there's All-Stars alumni. There's a Cozy Cole on drums, Marty Napoleon on piano, Arvell Shaw on bass, plus Peanuts Hucko, who had not yet joined the band, and Bobby Hackett on second trumpet. So it's a great band, but you'll see the warmth, the love between Armstrong and Teagarden. And by the end of the night at Town Hall, Joe Glazer signed Teagarden and knew that this was going to be our future. So here's one of the performances that inspired this shift in Armstrong's career.
And blowing Mr. Louis Armstrong in his old rocking chair. Came by my side, and you came by your side. Fetch me some water, son. You know you don't drink water, brother. For then my hide's already tanned. Can't get from this gallows what you have been choking, mother. Ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. Just sitting there grabbing at the blood round my rocking chair. Rocking chair. I remember dear old Aunt Harriet. I remember old Aunt Harriet. How long in heaven she'd be. Oh, about a year and a half there. Send me a sweet chariot and for the end of the trouble I see. My sweet chariot. Oh, rocking chair got me, Louis got me. Oh, rocking chair got you, brother. And the judgment day is grabbing upon me. Tell about it, boy. To my old rocking chair. Looks like old rocking chair got you, Daddy. I can't pull a peg, boy. Looks like your cane laying down there by your side. Well, I use it for trombone sometimes. Is that all? But I ain't got no chin, Father. Well, you better start running. Yes, but you're gonna tan my hide. No, I'm gonna forgive you this time.
Now you can't get from this cabin.
No, I know I
No, Father. But you ain't going nowhere.
I done been where I was going. I ain't going anywhere.
Dig him. You sitting here grabbing.
Yeah.
You grabbing.
Yeah.
You grabbing.
What?
After flies round your rocking chair.
Yeah, they sure bother.
Look here, Father. You remember old Aunt Harriet, don't you?
Yeah, she cut out, didn't she? But I knew her well. Not that well.
Oh, yeah. Yes, baby. I chariot, oh, chariot.
Ah, just give me a taxi. I got it right.
Cause the time, trouble, both of us to see.
Nobody knows the trouble I...
Telling me. Now, old rocking chair, get it.
Yeah.
Now, rocking chair, get it.
Yeah.
And just one day. Oh, just one day. Oh, yeah, sitting, yeah, chair. Yeah, rocking chair.
So I don't think it's a surprise that Jackie Robinson integrates Major League Baseball in April of '47, and that town hall concert occurs in May of '47. Mesro, remember Lewis and him talking in 1929, so that their idea of the new millennium was integration. And so now Armstrong said there's no excuse. So the All-Stars were an integrated band for the rest of Armstrong's life. And of course, they still had to play segregated venues, but Armstrong would say that when him and Teagarden would do those duets and they would put their arms around each other and hold hands at the end, he said, look at the nice taste we leave. And so integrated bands, not common, especially not on TV. And so the TV is where we're heading now for this next clip from the Jackie Gleason show on September 20th, 1952. This is a pretty wild clip. It was kind of a rebuilding year for the All-Stars. The previous year, Jack Teagarden left, Earl Hines left, and so and Barney Bigard had left. So we have Bob McCracken on clarinet, Cozy Cole on drums, Marty Napoleon on piano, Arvell Shaw on bass, and then making his literal debut with the band, Trummy Young. Trummy Young, who would stay with the band for 12 years. This was his first night on the band. It was like, welcome to the band. We're going on live TV on CBS. You know, just follow me. And it's great because they do, you know, two songs that kind of sum up the All-Stars. First, one of Lewis's big pop hits from the 50s. They do Kiss to Build a Dream on. And immediately after, good old good one instrumental, That's a Plenty, in which they are joined by second trumpeter at the very end, none other than Jackie Gleason. So, so here it is, live on CBS TV, September 20th, 1952.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, there's no sense of gilding the lily. Here he is, the world's greatest Louis Armstrong. Louis, it's got to be nice and cool tonight. Bring out the scenery, men. Bring it out. And may I say it this time, and away we go.
Solitaire, get out there. Now, folks, we're going to run into one of our recordings, Little Kiss to Build a Dream on. Yes, sir. Yeah, I know how you feel, man. A kiss to build a dream on, in my imagination to feed my hungry heart. Yes, give me the thing before we part. A kiss to build a dream on. Now give me a kiss to build a dream on, in my imagination. With 500 kids, yes, sweetheart, I ask no more than this. I guess I've been a dreamer. When I'm alone with my fancies, I'll be with you. Oh, we've romances, making believe they're true. Yes, give me your lips for just a moment, and my imagination will make that moment live. Babe, give me what you alone can give. Yes, I've been a dreamer. When I'm alone with my fancies, I'll be with you. Oh, even romances, making believe it's true. Babe, lend me your chops for just a moment. My imagination will make that moment live. Yeah. Give me what you alone can give. I guess I've been a dreamer. Thank you very much, folks. And we'd like to jump on back there with the boys now. We have a nice one to lay on you called That's a Plenty. Take it away, boys.
To the surprise of many, Jackie Gleason was not offered a permanent role in the All-Star. That night was actually the first Honeymooners sketch on CBS, too. So it was a historic episode of the Gleason show. But yeah, what a band. And I mean, you guys breaking into spontaneous applause at the trumpet solo. I try not to keep going down these roads. But remember, these are the years where Lewis is washed up, according to the critics. These are the years where his best days are behind him and he could barely play. He was a comic singer. Then you hear something like that. It's like, all right. But speaking of comedy, this next clip, after a few more years of rebuilding, by the mid-'50s, the All-Stars hit what I feel is their peak. The best front line the band ever had with Lewis, Edmond Hall on clarinet, and Trummy Young on trombone. Rhythm section, Billy Kyle comes in on piano, Arvell still on bass, Barrett Deems now on drums, and this is the height of the Ambassador Satch period. And for those who worship that album like I do, maybe one of your favorite tracks is 12th Street Rag. Edward R. Murrow filmed the All-Stars doing 12th Street Rag for a See It Now piece in 1955, but when he expanded it into the theatrical film Satchmo the Great in 56, he cut it. He cut it from the film, and it's always been kind of like this lost thing. I saw it one time at the Museum of Broadcasting. I now have it. The quality is not great, I'm going to admit it right now, but you'll get the point because the band sounds great, but this was one of their more visually comedic numbers. So even when you hear Ambassador Satch, you can't really picture what's going on. You'll see it now. It's pretty hilarious, but the music is still really top level.
One of Armstrong's New Orleans classics through the years has been 12th Street Rag. And we'd like to show the effect of this Dixieland piece on two audiences. One in Zurich and then in Lyon, France. Billy Kyle. Arvell Shaw. That's Edmond Hall.
This is the cutout. Trummy Young.
Barrett Deans at the drums.
And 12th Street Rag, it's one of those pieces that's, it's a lot of fun. So if you're a new jazz fan, you're going to get that. But Lewis used to point that out. He said, if you want to hear how great I'm still playing trumpet, he said, watch my band do 12th Street Rag. I mean, the high notes and all, it's incredible. But to stick with this band for a minute, the rhythm section started going through some changes in '58. Mort Herbert came in on bass. Danny Barcelona came in on drums. But with Billy Kyle still at the piano on that front line, which Arvell Shaw said that front line was more powerful than any big band he ever played in. Here's the 1958 Timex Jazz Show, 2 songs back to back. This is Muskrat Ramble and On the Sunny Side of the Street. Volume's also a little on the same level, so let's give it a little bump. Here we go. The trumpet players in the house.
Grab your coat, grab your hat, baby. Your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet on the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear that little fat baby? Now happy tune is your step. Our life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade. But I'm not afraid, baby. My rover was over. If I never ever said I'll be riches, you fellas, with gold at my feet on the sunny side of the sea.
Good for Lewis and Opera, right, Gwen? A lot of trumpet players in the room today who will be looking for new lines of work in the morning, I'm sure. We already heard the 1959 edition of the band when Peanut Tucko came in, so we're going to skip to the early 60s now. In 62, Lewis and the All-Stars were doing a tour of Europe, and when they went through Germany, they were asked to do a kind of an odd TV filmed appearance where Lewis had to recreate several songs from his past, no audience, and I think he's kind of, he's almost lost without his audience, but he sings beautifully, plays incredibly, and he does I'll Be Glad When You're Dead, You Rascal You, which had been out of the All-Stars repertoire for a while. Trummy's still there, Danny's still there, Billy Kyle's still there, Billy Cronk is now on bass. New clarinet man, Joe Darrensborg. I met his nephew today. I think he's probably outside catching Jewel. But yeah, another New Orleans native. I was told today he was hired in the band because he could cook gumbo, and so that was an important part of the prerequisites to join the All-Stars. So here's You Rascal You from May 15th, 1962. Actually, hold on, let me try something different here. Hold on. All right, let's try this.
One thing, you ain't no good at all. Out there coming up here eating up all my food, trying to bite me in the back from my wife, you rascal you. I'm gonna tell you all about it. I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal you. You rascal you. I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal you. You rascal you. Now I brought you into my home. You wouldn't leave my wife alone. I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal you. You rascal you. I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal you. You rascal you. I'll be tickled to death when you leave this earth, you dog. Oh, you dog. I took you for my friend. Where you tried to bite me in the back was a sin. Yeah. Before I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal you. You rascal you. I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal you. Rascal you. When you lay in feet deep, way down there, no more food will you eat. Yeah. Now I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal you. Rascal you. I'll be tickled to death when you leave this earth, you dog. Oh, you dog. Boy, you asked my wife for some cabbage. You ate just like a savage. I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal. Yes, I'll be glad when you dance, rascal you. Rascal you. I'll be standing on the corner high when they bring your body by, yeah. One more time, boy. I'll be glad when you dance, you rascal you. Rascal you. I said I'll be glad when you dance, you little old rascal you. Rascal you. Boy, what is it that you got? Makes my wife think you so hot. Am I don't know.
So that's 1962. That's after a heart attack in 59 and over 60 years old now and still getting it done. More personnel changes. By 65, Billy Kyle is still there and Danny Barcelona is still there. But now we have Buddy Catlett on bass, Eddie Shue on clarinet, Tyree Glenn on trombone. And this is in June of 65 in London, Back of Town Blues. We haven't heard blues yet, so this is Lewis and Louis Russell's composition.
There's one that Louis Russell and I wrote, one of the good old...
We've heard the name Stephen Maitland Lewis many times today. He was in the audience for this performance.
good one's coming up called Back of Town Blues.
In 1965, playing his Back of Town Blues on BBC television, Louis' trumpet reached back over 50 years to a New Orleans where the blues were no stage joke.
Living way back of town, yes. Yes, she treated me right. Never let me down. But I wasn't satisfied.
What did you do?
I had to run around.
That's just like you, Pop. John.
Now she's gone and left me. I'm worried as can be. Yes, I've searched this world all over, wondering where she could be. No. I must ask her to forgive me. Maybe day she'll come back to me. But I doubt it. Now I'm lonesome and blue, and I've learned a thing or two. Yes, fellas, here's the tip. I'm gonna pass on down to you. Tell them everything, Pop. Tell them everything. Not everything. Never mistreat your woman, because it's gonna bounce right back on you. That ain't no stand.
Yeah, man. 1965. So by that point, of course, that's the height of Hello Dolly. And again, oh, why do I always go to the critics? But this this is the height of the critics saying, oh, these people going to see him here play Hello Dolly. They don't have no idea what a great trumpeter he is. You know, he's doing that every night. But by the late 60s, his health is declining. And Billy Kyle passes away. Buster Bailey passes away. We already talked about Velma Middleton passes away. And Lewis's chops start getting a little bit erratic. But by 1968, he's actually back in good shape, kind of his last hurrah. I'm going to show you my last clip today. We should deal with Hello Dolly because, again, it's kind of a maligned song, but Lewis gives it 1,000% every time. This is another BBC broadcast from London, July 2nd, 1968. Lewis is very slimmed down here, but he was thrilled with this performance. He actually put out a record that he produced called Louis Armstrong's Greatest Hits Recorded Live from this concert. Tyree's still there. Marty Napoleon back on piano. Danny Barcelona on drums. Buddy Catlett still on bass. And Joe Muraney is now the clarinet player. This is Louis Armstrong's last edition of the All-Stars. But you'll see fans get a great show, and there's a dynamite trumpet solo in the middle, too. So let's go out swinging. Yes. Oh, every time I play that clip, there's always a murmur, which I. But.
Hello, Dolly. This is Louis Dolly. Mighty glad you're back where you've been now. Are you looking swell, Dolly? I can tell, Dolly. You keep blowing, still crowing, you still going strong. I feel the room swaying, the band playing. Old favorite tunes from way back when. So, show some snap, fellas. Find an empty lap, yes. Dolly, never go away again. the band playing old favorite tunes from way back when. So, got the jingle bells, every little bit did. Dig this one. Darling, never go for bed. Don't you ever go for bed. Darling,
Now, I'm technically out of time. Mr. Pult, do we have time for an encore? One more chorus of Hello Dolly? One more chorus of all right, it's coming. That's Lewis in his den right now. And right after this, we'll get one more chorus of Hello Dolly. But he might implore you to clap along. We'll see.
with the quartet, make a yes, Lord Dolly, Lord Dolly. Alrighty, Glenn, alrighty, Glenn, alrighty, Glenn. Ah, you're looking swell over there. You're looking swell over here. You keep going, ba-ba-da-da, going down. Dig this one. Think about this one. Yes, my favorite tunes way back when. Now we will take rap fellas. Yeah. Don't you ever go away. You ever go away.
Mr. Pult, do we have time for one more encore? One more time.
Hello. Come low. Body glad, body glad, body glad, body glad, body glad. Oh, you're looking sweller. I'm gonna tell her. You keep blowing. Away, go with John. Dig him. Big up on there. Oh, my old favorite tunes, way back when. Tyree Glenn, take rap fellas. Yeah. Go away. Go away. Go away again. Hey, take 'em out.
Mr. Pult, I'm done.
Well, you know, there's no use gilding the lily. Ladies and gentlemen, Ricky Riccardi.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You know, he's so funny. You know, next year, can I just read from his joke book? Anyway, before you head for the egress, fancy word for exit, I just wanted to take a moment of your time. One, it's very rare when you go to a big festival and there's big funder things. And I'm going to do it one more time because they're all here. Three of the funders who made this particular stage possible, so Ricky Possible and everything you've seen here are here, and their names are Janice Folks, Andre Duplessis, and Stephen Maitland-Lewis. So give them one more well-deserved hand of applause. The other thing that I will note is that these festivals, and this festival, they can't work without a bunch of volunteers who guide people to their seats and make sure everything's ready to go and everyone has their program, etc. So I would like you, there's some here, but maybe people are in the overflow room and this thing is being broadcast a lot of places. Could you give a big hand of applause to the volunteers? Anyway,
And the engineers. Yeah.
Oh, and of course, again, once again, we have Travis and Aiden. Where's Aiden? And he's gone. And Danny Kadar, who's in the back watching baseball. And of course, David Kunian, the curator, music curator here at the museum. And thank the museum. But I've had a lovely weekend.
You and me
I
both.
hope you have too. Next year it's August 5th, and 6th. So put down your calendar. I'll be taking roll. Also, like this woman, buy your T-shirts. That helps this festival. You as well, certainly. Now I have to get back to my rehearsal for the Guys and Dolls revival, but I love you all, a bushel and a peck. Good night. Thank you all for coming.
And I'll be available for photos and small talk with and without the foolishness.